Hello and welcome to Monday Mindfulness. Today we're going to talk a bit about emptiness. We've focused on a lot of different mindfulness techniques over the weeks, and emptiness is a really great way to have a central place or being able to be at peace with uh, an inner stillness that lets us observe things and be mindful of things. So without emptiness, the ability of us to be mindful is limited. So we're going to focus on emptiness in honor of the Dalai Lama, which I was lucky enough to be in the presence of in Milan over the weekend. So he spoke a lot about emptiness and the liberation that can come from that. And I'd love to be able to share an emptiness meditation in honor of him and his work. So emptiness isn't about uh, clearing the mind or imposing a sense of emptiness on our experience. It's not about being empty in the stomach as far as having being hungry or anything like that. It's about having an empty, still, aware idea or perspective on reality. It lets us be open, it lets us be peaceful, and at the same time it can be a bit scary at first. If there's a void or if there's nothingness, it can take a bit of peacemaking to be able to acclimatize to spending time in emptiness. And for me, the longer that I've done it, the more I've practiced it, the easier it becomes. And it helps me to be humble. It helps me to know that even if I might have a belief, or if I might have a reaction or a filter that I've put on a situation, that from that place of emptiness, stillness, the underlying awareness or consciousness of reality, some of my beliefs may not check out. They may lead me to emptiness when I explore them. Because when I humbly explore, for example, a belief that a bus should come on time, where is that coming from? And am I seeing the whole picture? Am I seeing our interrelatedness, how everything is moving and dancing together? Am I seeing things from a perspective of being a individual, isolated being that's not part of the whole? Am I coming from a perspective of believing that my mind is an absolute authority on something? And is that true? I'm not saying that it is or isn't, but it's just an interesting question to ask. So we have this multi-layered experience where we can have an emptiness or a stillness or an experience of the moment, and then we can layer things on top of that. We can see ourselves as separate. We might have a separation filter, and then we might have a learned belief or a habit pattern where we believe that we can judge things or interpret them in a particular way, and that layering also shrinks us and isolates us, and our combination of beliefs and labels and perspectives can actually be a big impact on the way that we interrelate with the world, but also the way that we feel, the way that our emotions respond to these kinds of things. And also it can help us to not really see reality clearly. So with the emptiness, we're able to just take things in and take, even if it's a moment, to get some clarity, to get some openness of perspective. And there can be subtle ways that the mind can try to break the emptiness or to autopilot itself into an automated response or a label of it. Even labeling of emptiness is labeling. It's an experience, and I don't have the words to describe it fully. I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to share a practice that can help you to experience it for yourself. But it's noticing, it's having a place that's still and central enough to be able to notice if I'm pushing and pulling anything, which we've talked about in the past, if I'm layering filters on anything, if I'm basically also, who is my sense of self who is adding things to emptiness. So it lets us really get clarity with who we are, what our beliefs are, and where they're coming from, and the way that we're labeling and filtering things. So we'll do more practices on self-awareness. I know it may not be technically mindfulness, but I feel like it's fundamental to so many other areas of meditation. If you can become self-aware, truly aware of the life spark in our center, I feel like it changes everything. And I've found that I see that life spark, that vibrant radiance of life in everything when I see it in myself. So we can go into self-awareness later. We can go into, we've spoken a bit about in the past about labeling. There's labeling meditations if you want to search for them. And we'll go more into perspectives and more detailed mindfulness later. But this meditation is about emptiness. And what we're going to do is we're just going to find a straight posture where we're comfortable, and we're going to just allow ourselves to be empty. We're not going to force ourselves to be empty. We're going to also allow our mind to function. If our mind tries to grab hold of things, if it tries to do counter emptiness, we're going to allow that to move and just stay in a sense of neutral awareness, a sense of just allowing the mind to just rest and relax, and witness the pushes and pulls and the experiences that we have, and also just allow them to be felt and neutrally passed without needing to hold on to them too much or tell too many stories about them. So I know this might sound like a bit of an abstract concept. It does take practice, and the emptiness meditation that we're going to do today is a bit like a reset. It's just building, even if it's a few moments of this still, self-aware unknowingness, like a child, like a baby when it's first born, not really needing to know or control or interpret. It's just being able to be open and peaceful with now. And if you notice any obstruction to your peace through the meditation, any movements that are either rooted in story or trying to add turbulence to that emptiness, just let it pass. Take a breath and just be at the center. Be empty, like an empty vessel. And it's natural when you have them phases of emptiness for that to be a little scary at first. New things tend to be scary. Just allow it and stay. So we're going to close our eyes down, taking a few deep breaths. And just noticing what emptiness is for you. Just noticing if you can be completely open, sensitive and relaxed. If any perspective, any need to target focus comes in, allow that, relax into it. Take a breath. Come back to the center of your being. Come back to the empty, peaceful nothingness on which everything else in our experience is painted. Letting go of the need to know, letting go of the need to understand right now. We're humble and we're empty. And if you feel the need to break out of emptiness, just take an extra few seconds. If you feel like even the emptiness, the feeling of stillness at your center, if you feel like your mind is making that a somethingness, just let go of that too. Just have the courage to surrender and allow the emptiness to be. The mind wants to logically break down and question and find, discover the emptiness in the things that we've tried to add, that we've tried to filter and label. We can do that at another time. This is time for a little humble emptiness, a rest, and a chance to get familiar, get comfortable with simply being empty. It can take discipline to keep letting go, continuing to surrender and allow not investing any energy in anything. Relax and allow the mind to rest like a loose resting muscle. Allow the focus to lay open in relaxation. If you're feeling any personalization, any vested interests, any interpretation of the self or others, just allow that to pass. Somethingness can be addictive. A lot of people are very good at it. Today, we're allowing time for emptiness. Any subtle or not so subtle traces of judgment, interpretation, meaning put on things, just let them go. Let yourself be empty for now. Any interpretation of time, space, just allow yourself to relax, building comfort with that emptiness. the mind wants to run off with something, allowing it to go without investing energy, just gently keeping the finger on the pulse of that emptiness, and then just relax a little more until you can let go of the finger and just be. Even the most subtlest movement doesn't need energy invested right now. Relaxing into it. Just doing your best here. There's no right or wrong. It's a moment to moment surrender, commitment to relaxing and allowing. And then just let go of the commitment and just be. Stay with it. Just allow any form, any movement to melt away. And just slowly, very slowly, taking a few breaths, allowing the sense of emptiness or fullness to be witnessed as it is. And keeping that relaxed, open emptiness, just witnessing the body without needing to label or change it. Being able to be at peace right here in this experience. And very slowly, with the same relaxed awareness, gently opening your eyes. Now, one thing that I love to do coming out of this kind of practice is just to walk and go about my day just a half a step slower than usual and be able to surf that emptiness. You can also use this perspective that the emptiness creates to do a practice like exploring a belief or a label that you've put on things. If you've got a situation that's been causing you some emotional trauma, to be able to work with that and to be able to get a closer look at it in this state, it can be much easier to be able to know what our genuine needs are, what we're value adding to it, how much of it is the ego that's got in there and got involved. So it can be a really nice place for self-reflection and self-inquiry. And we can start to get an idea of what is the self. Is the self the emptiness? Is it the ego? Is it an interrelated sphere of life? So yeah, this place can be a nice point to start some reflection and some really humble, honest exploring of our reality. So I wish you a wonderful week. If you have any questions, please leave us a comment here. Get in touch with me through the 13 Weeks to Awakening website or through YouTube. And I, I hope you have a wonderful experience and a fantastic week. Aho.